If someone told you that flat bench press is all it takes to build a strong chest, that might explain exactly why your pecs still look flat. And before you take that the wrong way, this is not an attack. It's just the reality that most people in the gym are stuck in. Chest day feels sacred. You walk in locked in, ready to work, putting everything you have into every set. But when you step back and look at the mirror, something's still missing. The progress isn't showing up the way it should. The problem isn't effort, it's strategy. Most people believe the chest is just one big slab of muscle. Push hard enough and it'll grow. But the chest is actually made up of fibers running in different directions, each with different functions. Each part responds to a different kind of tension. So if you're only doing flat press, you're only hitting part of the picture. Think about it. Wide shoulders, strong arms, but right in the middle, that flat section that ruins the whole look? That's not bad luck. That's a signal that something's missing from the approach. Real chest development doesn't come from random effort. It comes from knowing which movements stretch the fibers, which ones contract them, and when to use each one for maximum results. That's exactly what this video delivers. Not a random list of chest exercises, a system. Only 6 movements, each one targeting a specific region: upper, middle, and lower. Proven in the gym. Built for results you can actually see. And the best part? You don't have to do all 6 in one session. You just need to know how to use them like tools. Let's get into it. Exercise 1. The dumbbell pullover. There is one exercise that almost no one takes seriously anymore, and that's precisely why it produces results most people never see. The dumbbell pullover looks simple on the surface, but when it's done correctly, it reaches parts of the chest that flat pressing simply cannot touch. Most lifters throw this at the end of their workout, swinging a heavy dumbbell with zero control and calling it a day. But that approach misses the entire point. The real value of the pullover isn't in the weight, it's in the stretch. When you control the movement and let the dumbbell arc slowly behind your head, the chest opens up in a way that no press can replicate. Deep fibers fire. The rib cage expands. That's a stimulus that pressing movements just don't create. Where bench press compresses and contracts, the pullover stretches and shapes. It lengthens the chest, activates the muscles around the rib cage, and creates that wide, three-dimensional look, even when you're not actively flexing. Think of it as carving out the foundation of your upper body, rather than just pumping your chest full of blood. But here's where most people go wrong. They go too heavy, they bend their elbows too much, or they let the shoulders take over and turn it into a completely different movement. For this to work, keep a slight bend in the elbows and hold that angle fixed throughout the entire rep. Let the dumbbell travel in a controlled arc, not a straight drop. If your shoulders are doing all the work, you're either going too far back or rushing through the movement. One more thing that makes a real difference: breathing. Taking a deep inhale during the stretch and actively expanding your chest at the bottom of the rep increases activation noticeably. It also helps your posture and opens up your frame over time. The pullover works best as a finisher. When the chest is already tired, the stretch becomes an overload that creates room for more growth next session. And that's just the beginning. There's a movement coming up that most people treat as a throwaway, but it might be the most important sculpting tool in this entire list. If this kind of content is already helping you rethink the way you train, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps this channel keep delivering content like this, and there's a lot more coming. Now, let's talk about the move that builds the kind of chest detail you can't press your way to. Exercise 2. The dumbbell fly. If your chest looks decent from the front, but disappears from the side, there's a clear reason. a lack of real stretch under tension. And bench press will not fix that. What will? The dumbbell fly. Done right, it's one of the most effective sculpting movements for inner chest density and overall shape. Most people treat flies as a throwaway finisher. Grab light weights, pump a few reps, done. But when executed with intention, the fly becomes a precision tool. Unlike presses, which push the weight, flies stretch the muscle fibers to their limit. And when fibers are stretched under tension, the body responds with the kind of adaptation that makes the chest visually fuller, especially in the center. The form is everything here. Open your arms like you're hugging something wide, not flapping like wings. Maintain a slight bend in the elbows, and hold that position fixed throughout the movement. The tension should stay on the chest the entire time, especially at the bottom of the rep. That's where the growth happens. Don't let your ego set the weight. Load it too heavy, and the shoulders take over completely. The chest checks out. The risk goes up. Keep the weight moderate, and focus on feeling every inch of the stretch. When the chest is forced to hold a heavy stretch under sustained tension, it adapts. That adaptation builds fullness, especially the thick armor plate look that shows up in side profiles and when you're not wearing a shirt. You cannot build that level of detail with pressing alone. You earn it through controlled stretch work. The best way to use flies is right after heavy presses. Pre-fatigue the chest first, then let the fly finish the job with good form and deep focus. That combination is how you sculpt, not just build. But if you want that heavy, full chest that fills out a shirt from collar to hem, there's a classic movement that still can't be replaced. And it's time to revisit it with precision. Exercise 3. The flat bench press. This is the one everyone knows, but barely anyone does it right. Flat bench press is the king of chest training. The heaviest lift, the biggest move, and, ironically, the most wasted exercise in most people's routines. The problem is ego. Too many lifters turn bench press into a performance. Loaded bar, half reps, elbows flaring out, bouncing the weight off the chest like it's a game. It looks intense. But let's be clear, that's noise, not progress. Heavy doesn't mean effective, especially when the chest isn't actually doing the work. Done properly, bench press is a genuine mass builder. It allows for progressive overload over time, activates large muscle groups, and lets you move real weight while targeting the central chest. But the execution has to be clean. Feet flat on the floor, shoulder blades pulled back and down, chest up. The bar should come down to about nipple level, not the throat, not the belly. Grip slightly wider than shoulder width, with the elbows tracking naturally. No sharp pain, just focused pressure. If you want to get the most out of bench press, stop using only one variation. A barbell builds raw strength and allows you to progressively load over time. Dumbbells give a greater range of motion and better balance between sides. A machine adds control and consistency when fatigue starts to affect form. Each version has its place. Use them strategically, and your chest will start responding in new ways. One more thing worth saying: bench press is not a warm-up. It's the foundation of chest training. Build your session around it, and then stack complementary movements like flies to shape what the bench builds. But if you want that upper chest, the line near your collarbone that makes a shirt pop and gives your chest shape from the top down, the next exercise is not optional. Exercise 4. The incline bench press. If your chest looks like it's sliding down instead of rising up, if that upper section near your collarbone always looks flat, no matter how hard you train, this is the fix. Incline bench press. This isn't just a variation of bench. For many people, it should be a priority. Changing the angle changes everything. With the bench set somewhere between 30 and 45 degrees, the pressure shifts toward the upper chest, the exact region that creates what's often called the shelf effect. That's the fullness near the top that separates a chest that looks trained from one that just looks thick. But the angle has to be right. Go higher than 45 degrees and you're essentially doing a shoulder press. Too low, and you're just repeating flat bench. 30 to 45 degrees is the window that puts you in position to actually develop that upper region. Execution matters here just as much as the angle. Lock in your shoulder blades, keep the chest up, and lower the bar or dumbbells slowly until your arms are parallel to the ground. That deep stretch at the bottom is what wakes up fibers that flat pressing misses entirely. And again, don't let ego drive the weight selection. Incline pressing is not about moving the heaviest number possible. It's about hitting the right angle and making the right muscles do the work. Mix your tools here, just like with flat bench. A barbell builds power and lets you load progressively. Dumbbells give freedom of movement and a better stretch. A machine keeps the form honest when fatigue sets in. And here's something worth accepting early. Your incline numbers will never match your flat bench numbers. That's not a weakness. That's accuracy. You're isolating a specific region, not just moving a maximum load. Train incline consistently, and the upper chest will fill in. Shirts fit differently. Your posture improves. It changes the entire shape of the upper body. But there's a move coming up that requires no weights at all. And it hits the same region with a completely different kind of intensity. Exercise 5. The decline push-up. If you still think push-ups are only for beginners, it's time to rethink that. Decline push-ups, with your feet elevated, turn one of the simplest movements into a serious upper chest challenge. No weights, no machines, just your body, gravity, and control. The key is the elevation. When your feet are raised, the angle of the push changes. Now you're pressing downward, which mirrors the exact mechanics of incline bench press. That shift targets the upper chest fibers, the same ones most people neglect. And when done at the right intensity, the burn is real. But don't be fooled by how simple this looks. It's a full-body challenge. Your core, glutes, and stabilizing muscles all have to hold position, and that extra engagement increases total tension, which leads to new stimulus, even for experienced lifters. Form is non-negotiable. Keep the body straight from heels to head. Hands slightly wider than shoulder width. Lower the chest first, not the hips. Elbows not flared too wide. If the lower back sags or the hips rise, the tension shifts away from the chest and the movement stops being effective. And here's the real advantage of this exercise: it can grow with you. When standard decline push-ups start feeling easy, add a weight vest. Slow the tempo. Increase the height of the elevation. Each adjustment makes the movement harder and more rewarding. Use decline push-ups after heavy pressing work. After incline bench, for example, the chest is already pre-fatigued, and bodyweight resistance at that point becomes genuinely challenging. Each rep will test your control, but the result is more shape, more detail, more size in the exact area where most people stay flat. And there's one final movement left, one that finishes the chest from the bottom up with a level of precision the other exercises can't match. Exercise 6. The high to low cable crossover. You can press until failure. You can fly, flex, push, and chase the pump all session long. But if you're not isolating the lower chest with real precision, the chest will always look unfinished. That's where this movement comes in. the high to low cable crossover. What makes it different is the angle. Pulling from high to low mirrors the exact direction of the lower chest fibers. It's not just pushing down, it's carving detail, defining the line between the chest and the abs, and bringing out that clean athletic finish that separates a developed physique from one that just looks like it lifts. And at this point in a workout, when the chest is already exhausted, that's exactly when this exercise shines. Lightweight, full control, constant tension from start to finish. Form check. 1 foot forward for a solid base. Arms start wide at the top with a slight bend in the elbows. Then pull down and in like you're hugging someone across your waist. No swinging, no jerking, just clean, steady control through the full range. At the bottom of the rep, the squeeze, is where this movement pays off. Hold it for a moment. Feel the contraction. That's where the lower chest develops. Don't get greedy with the weight. Too heavy and the shoulders take over. Too fast and the tension disappears. Keep it controlled, keep it tight, and feel every inch of the movement. The results show up in 2 ways. Aesthetically, a tighter and more defined lower chest that shows even under a loose shirt. And functionally, better posture, more stability, and improved power transfer to your bigger lifts. Now that you have all 6 movements, the real question is how to use them. Because knowing is one thing, applying is everything. You just went through the only 6 exercises you need to build a complete chest. Upper, middle, and lower. But what makes this a system rather than just a list is how each movement plays a specific role. The pullover stretches and shapes. The fly sculpts the inner fibers. Flat bench builds mass. Incline targets the upper region. Decline push-ups challenge from a new angle. And the cable crossover finishes the lower chest with precision. Every part of the chest has a role to play in the overall look. When you train each section with the right movement and the right intent, the chest stops being a weak point and starts becoming a statement. Shirts fit differently. Your posture changes. You carry yourself differently. You don't need to do all 6 exercises in every session. Use them strategically. Pair pressing with stretching. Balance load with control. Attack the chest with intention rather than just effort, and the body will respond faster than you think. Results come quicker when every rep has a reason behind it. So here's the question. What was the idea in this video that made the most sense to you? Drop it in the comments. Let's talk training strategy. If this kind of content makes sense to you, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more coming. And the next video might change the way you train an entirely different part of your body.